Rick Harrison, the star of Pawn Stars, has just been sentenced to life in prison in a shocking case. Once known for his successful career, he is now facing serious allegations. Let's dive into the details of this case and explore what led to this dramatic turn in Rick Harrison's life. Rick Harrison, the famous star of the show Pawn Stars, has just been sentenced to life in prison in a shocking case. From being a well-known figure with a successful career, he is now facing serious allegations. Let's dive into the details of this incident and explore what led to this dramatic turn in Rick Harrison's life. Please leave your thoughts on this case in the comments section below the video, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want to stay updated on the latest shocking stories in the entertainment world. Rick Harrison, born on March 26, 1965 in Lexington, North Carolina, is known as a sharp businessman and a television personality after his success with Pawn Stars. However, his path to fame wasn't smooth. When Rick was just 2 years old, his family moved to San Diego, California, where he spent most of his childhood. Life threw him a major challenge when he was diagnosed with epilepsy at the age of 8, which caused him to miss a significant amount of school. Instead of backing down, Rick was determined to educate himself, particularly in history, turning his time at home into a self-education training ground. This extensive knowledge of history later proved to be one of his most valuable assets. Rick Harrison, born on March 26, 1965 in Lexington, North Carolina, became famous as a sharp businessman and television personality after Pawn Stars. However, his road to fame wasn't smooth. When Rick was 2 years old, his family moved to San Diego, California, where he spent most of his childhood. Life presented a major challenge when he was diagnosed with epilepsy at the age of 8, which caused him to miss a lot of school. However, instead of backing down, Rick was determined to teach himself, particularly about history, and turned his time at home into a self-education course. This deep knowledge of history later proved to be one of his most valuable assets. At the age of 17, Rick's life took a significant turn. His girlfriend, Kim, was pregnant, and the young couple decided to get married and have 2 sons, Cory and Adam. Although their marriage lasted for 8 years, they eventually divorced. In 1981, Rick and his family moved to Las Vegas, Nevada, where his father, Richard, opened a small store called Golden Silver Coin Shop. By 1989, this store had grown into a famous landmark in Las Vegas, Golden Silver Pawn Shop, which would later become the iconic setting for Pawn Stars. The early days of the shop were not easy. Rick and his father faced many shady deals and unpredictable customers. However, through it all, Rick's sharp eye for identifying antiques and his vast knowledge of historical artifacts helped the shop grow significantly. Over time, he built a solid reputation in the Las Vegas pawn community. Recognizing the untapped entertainment potential in the pawn industry, Rick began imagining a reality show that would highlight the unique stories and the daily hustle at the Golden Silver Pawn Shop. Initially, the idea was rejected, but Rick didn't give up. After years of persistence, he signed a deal with the History Channel, and in 2009, Pawn Stars officially premiered on TV. The show revealed the world of pawn shops, combining tense negotiations, rare and unusual items, and fascinating historical stories. The audience was introduced to Rick, his son Cory, his father Old Man Richard Harrison, and the beloved friend Austin Chumley Russell. This team quickly became household names, evaluating everything from swords to unique collectibles. Pawn Stars quickly became a phenomenon, thanks to Rick's calm demeanor, expert negotiation skills, and deep historical knowledge. Rick's famous line, "The best I can do is," became iconic, marking the moment when deals were either sealed or rejected. However, the show was not just entertaining, but also highly educational. Each episode offered a lesson in history, art, and culture, helping Pawn Stars attract a diverse audience, from curious kids to history buffs and casual viewers. Under Rick's leadership, Gold and Silver Pawn Shop transformed from a local store into a must-visit tourist attraction, drawing visitors from around the world, with some even having the chance to appear on the show. With the immense success of the show, Rick expanded into other ventures, including selling memorabilia, best-selling books, and even opening restaurants. His fame extended beyond the pawn shop and television as he became a sought-after media personality, appearing on talk shows, giving interviews with major magazines, and sharing business insights at events. What do you think about this situation? Is it true or a misunderstanding? Leave your thoughts in the comments. If you're curious about shocking stories from the entertainment world, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any exciting videos. Rick Harrison's journey from a high school dropout to a TV star and successful entrepreneur continues to inspire people around the world. Rick Harrison is not just the face of Pawn Stars, but also the driving force behind the show's success. He's known not only for his sharp business instincts, but also for his calm leadership on screen. Rick often serves as a mentor to his son Cory in the pawn business and keeps an eye on Chumley's antics. Rick's relationship with his father, Richard Old Man Harrison, was not just that of father and son, but also of strategic partners, built over years of hard work and mutual respect. Together, they built Gold and Silver Pawn Shop from the ground up, based on shared values of honesty, intellect, and integrity. When Old Man passed away in 2018, Rick continued to ensure that the business reflected the values his father instilled in each deal and decision. Although the fame and wealth that Pawn Stars brought to Rick are undeniable, his personal life has also seen its share of ups and downs. After his first marriage ended, he married Tracy Harrison, and they lived together for 27 years before divorcing in 2011. 2 years later, Rick married Deanna Burdett in a memorable ceremony in Las Vegas, officiated by Counting Cars star Danny Coker, with Chumley happily serving as the ring bearer. While Rick tries to keep his personal life private, the moments he shares on the show reveal that he is a devoted family man. Whether discussing his children or reflecting on his father, Rick always strives to maintain a balance between his fame, business, and family life. Never content to rest on his laurels, Rick Harrison continued to expand his business empire. As his fame grew, he took his business ventures beyond the pawn shop. Rick opened Rick's Rollin' Smoke BBQ and Tavern at Pawn Plaza, just steps away from Gold and Silver Pawn Shop. The restaurant quickly became a favorite stop for both tourists and locals, offering great food and a bit of star power. In 2011, Rick shared his story in print when he co-authored the best-selling book, License to Pawn, Deals, Steals, and My Life at the Gold and Silver. The memoir offered fans an authentic glimpse into the man behind the counter, with vibrant stories, business savvy, and colorful anecdotes from decades of dealing. As a true entrepreneur, Rick continued to expand his brand and explore new business opportunities. Rick's valuation skills, honed through thousands of deals on Pawn Stars, have made him one of the most prominent figures in the world of collecting. From historical documents and classic cars to rare artifacts, Rick has seen and valued it all. However, what sets him apart is his humility and practicality. When an item is outside his area of expertise, he is always willing to call in trusted specialists. This combination of curiosity, caution, and confidence is what has helped both his business and the show continue to thrive. Among the memorable deals Rick has made is the 2001 New England Patriots Super Bowl ring, which he purchased for just $2,600, only to later discover its true value was much higher. Another notable deal involved a Spanish treasure trove, which included gold coins recovered from a 1715 shipwreck. A perfect find that showcased Rick's deep respect for history and rare treasures. With every deal, Rick Harrison proves what fans have known for a long time. He is not only a businessman, but also a storyteller, a history enthusiast, and a master negotiator with a keen eye for recognizing value. Despite his tremendous success, Rick Harrison's journey has not been without its challenges. In 2023, he became the focal point of a shocking federal investigation that left fans and those close to him stunned. In a scene that could have been taken straight out of a Hollywood movie, federal agents from the FBI, IRS, and the Department of Cultural Heritage Protection descended on both Rick's home in Las Vegas and the gold and silver pawn shop. Witnesses described a chaotic and surreal atmosphere as staff and customers were temporarily detained while agents conducted searches, seizing computers, documents, and several high-value artifacts. Rick Harrison's son, Cory Harrison, was present at the store during the raid and later described the moment as unbelievable, happening so quickly and forcefully that no one had time to react. Shortly after, video clips showing Rick being escorted out of his home by Secret Service agents appeared, quickly going viral and sparking a storm of speculation on social media. As details were slowly revealed, authorities stated they were investigating a complex network involving tax evasion, money laundering, and the illegal trade of cultural artifacts. The investigation stemmed from suspicious financial transactions detected by banking institutions, alongside complaints from some former business associates. Despite facing intense scrutiny and growing media attention, Rick remained calm, publicly stable, and focused on running his business as the investigation continued. While the full truth has not yet been disclosed, one thing is certain. Rick Harrison is now facing one of the most dramatic and pivotal chapters in his life. There's no denying that Rick Harrison remains one of the most influential figures in the world of reality television. From a bookish boy who struggled with epilepsy to a self-made businessman and star of one of the most popular cable TV shows, Rick's story has long been a symbol of perseverance, effort, and reinvention. But after the raid in 2023, his legacy suddenly became murky, filled with uncertainty. In the weeks following the federal investigation, the History Channel announced a temporary halt in the production of Pawn Stars, stating that they were closely monitoring the situation and would reconsider once more information became available. Meanwhile, the number of visitors to the gold and silver pawn shop began to decline. The buzz that once attracted tourists from all over the world had now turned into mere whispers about the scandal. Rick's representative quickly denied any wrongdoing, calling the investigation a major misunderstanding that would soon be cleared up. His lawyer, David Marshall, a prominent defense attorney in Las Vegas who had represented many high-profile clients, reassured the public that Rick had always conducted his business transparently and legally. But as the case progressed, a different picture began to emerge. Authorities believed that Rick had orchestrated a complex scheme to devalue historical artifacts for the purpose of tax evasion, while selling them at full market value through off-the-record transactions. Some of the items involved were suspected of being stolen, purchased through intermediaries, and traced back to museums and private collections. Court documents revealed that the investigation was initiated by a whistleblower, a former employee who not only participated in the scheme, but also provided internal documents, transaction records, and access to an accounting system designed to conceal sensitive transactions from the books. Rick was arrested shortly after, but was released on bail the following day. The charges were serious: tax evasion, money laundering, trafficking in stolen property, and conspiring to trade in illegal historical artifacts. As the case went to trial, more evidence began to emerge. Former colleagues testified against him, and the prosecution presented encrypted messages, altered accounting books, and emails that allegedly showed Rick discussing ways to erase the provenance records of artifacts, most notably an 18th-century document suspected to have been stolen from a university archive. In a highly damaging exchange, Rick appeared to have coordinated a series of cash transactions designed to evade federal reporting requirements. Although legal experts debated whether the sentence was too harsh for a non-violent offense, the judge made it clear that this was not just a matter of tax evasion and financial misconduct, but a cultural price. "Mr. Harrison," the judge said sternly, "you have built your public image as a defender of history, someone who values artifacts and our shared heritage. In reality, you have participated in an illegal network, contributing to the looting and destruction of invaluable cultural heritage for personal gain." These words rang out like thunder in the courtroom, and with them, Rick Harrison's legacy, the face of one of America's favorite TV shows, was officially shattered. However, despite the controversy, Rick still has loyal supporters who haven't forgotten the impact he made. Social media groups have formed to defend him, sharing stories of how Pawn Stars sparked their passion for history, antiques, and learning. "Rick taught me to love history in a way that school never could," one fan wrote. "No matter what happens, we will never forget what he brought to us." For those who grew up with Pawn Stars, Rick Harrison is not just a TV personality, but a cultural bridge, connecting ordinary people with extraordinary stories through the items they brought to his shop. Although the final verdict may have ended his television career, the mark Rick left on popular culture and in the hearts of millions of viewers may never fade. This is not just a cautionary tale, but also a story of ambition, influence, and the heavy responsibility that someone who publicly defends history must face. Immediately after the verdict was announced, Rick's legal team wasted no time appealing, arguing that the sentence was too harsh and disproportionate for a non-violent crime, while also violating Rick's civil rights. They pointed out that Rick had no prior convictions, and that some of the artifact transactions were ambiguous, requesting Rick's release pending the appeal. This request was swiftly denied. A moment later, cameras captured a striking image as Rick was escorted out of the courtroom in handcuffs. The man once known for his calm negotiations and historical knowledge was now at the center of a media storm. These videos quickly went viral, sparking a storm of reactions across media outlets and social networks. Public opinion quickly became divided. Many of Rick's longtime fans were in disbelief, believing he had become a scapegoat for a larger issue in the global antiquities trade. Forums and comment sections were flooded with messages of support and skepticism. Meanwhile, cultural heritage experts and historians defended the harsh sentence, viewing it as an important decision in the fight against the illegal trade of artifacts. In response to the growing division, Rick's supporters launched the Hearts for Harrison campaign. The campaign quickly gained attention, gathering over 100,000 signatures calling for a reconsideration of the sentence. "We're not saying Rick is innocent in everything," said Melissa Jenkins, the campaign's leader. "But a life sentence for a non-violent crime is not justice, it's revenge. Rick deserves a chance to make things right." The campaign also raised funds for Rick's legal defense and flooded social media with encouraging messages. "Every prayer, every signature, every dollar counts," Jenkins added. "We believe he can still make it right." Cory Harrison, Rick's son, shared his heartfelt emotions for the first time. "My father may have made mistakes, but he doesn't deserve to die in prison. He deserves a chance to realize what happened and rebuild." Meanwhile, the response from corporations was swift and decisive. The History Channel, the network that once aired Pawn Stars, officially severed all ties with Rick Harrison. Not only was the show canceled, but reruns were immediately pulled from the schedule. The network released a statement expressing deep disappointment over Rick's actions and reaffirmed its commitment to protecting and respecting cultural heritage. Although foot traffic to the gold and silver pawn shop significantly decreased after the scandal, the shop remained open. It continued to be a cultural and historical symbol of Las Vegas, where every ordinary item told an extraordinary story. In an effort to rebuild public trust, Cory Harrison stepped up to lead the business, determined to restore the shop's and the family's image. Cory repositioned the shop based on values of transparency, ethics, and education. He implemented strict verification processes for every transaction and collaborated with museums and academic organizations to promote ethical collecting practices. In an emotional interview 6 months after Rick's conviction, Cory spoke about the difficult battle. "What happened was a mistake. We can't change the past, but we are committed to being part of the solution, not the problem." Austin Chumley Russell, Rick's longtime friend and colleague, also publicly shared his thoughts for the first time on a podcast. Chumley expressed his complex feelings. "I've learned a lot from Rick about strong business principles that I'll carry with me for life, but I also have to admit there was a side of him I had never seen, or maybe I didn't want to see." As Rick's appeal continues in the courts, the Harrison family remains focused on supporting him and restoring the integrity of the business he built. Cory's unexpected rise to leadership has surprised many, particularly those who had once seen him as hot-tempered and unpredictable. However, the way he led through the crisis earned him newfound respect. "The encouragement from fans means a lot to my father," Cory shared in a press statement. "I read every letter, knowing that there are still people who believe in our family, and that gives us the strength to keep going." In a heartfelt new tradition, the Harrison family now holds weekly prayer sessions every Sunday in front of the pawn shop. Loyal fans from all over the country come to participate, pray, share memories, and offer continued support for Rick. For those unable to make it to Las Vegas, the family encourages them to send letters, cards, or even Pawn Stars memorabilia. Simple gifts that remind Rick he is not alone. Although Rick Harrison's future remains uncertain, the story of Pawn Stars continues to endure, not just as a TV show, but as a testament to the rise of a family business and the thin line between legacy and controversy. Currently, the gold and silver pawn shop stands strong, symbolizing both what has passed and what may still lie ahead. Small gestures can go a long way, especially for someone going through the darkest chapter of their life. "The letters from fans mean more than they realize to my father," Cory shared. "This support gives him strength." Despite facing countless challenges, Cory Harrison remains optimistic about the future of the gold and silver pawn shop. "My father taught me everything about this business, and the good values he passed down to me are still the foundation upon which we build. We've made mistakes, but this shop has been a part of Las Vegas for over 30 years, and I'm determined to ensure it will last for another 30. Rick Harrison's journey has traversed one of the most dramatic emotional arcs in reality television history. From a modest asset broker to a successful entrepreneur, a household name, and now a man serving a life sentence. This series of events has been compared by many to a modern Shakespearean tragedy, where a man, deeply immersed in history, used the very artifacts he once revered to orchestrate his own downfall. For some, Rick's story serves as a cautionary tale about fame, wealth, and the fragile line between bold business moves and criminal behavior. It is a reminder that under the spotlight of fame, every decision is magnified, and every misstep carries a weight far beyond the walls of the pawn shop. The repercussions of Rick's downfall continue to ripple through the world of reality television, leaving his family in a fragile state and challenging the public to reconsider success, legacy, and redemption. However, there is still hope. The Harrison family has launched a dedicated website where fans can send encouraging messages to Rick, share memories, or express their support. Letters and emails sent through this platform will be forwarded to Rick in prison, serving as a beacon of light in the darkest chapter of his life. According to the family, these messages act as a lifeline, boosting Rick's spirits and reminding him that he is not entirely forgotten. Rick has always valued his audience, a statement from the family reads. He knows that your support means more now than ever. As this complex and deeply human story continues to unfold, one thing is certain. Pawn Stars has left an indelible mark on popular culture, educating and entertaining millions around the world. Will Rick be able to clear his name and rebuild, or is the future of the brand now solely in Cory's hands? Only time will tell. We will continue to follow this extraordinary case, a story that goes beyond television and touches on family, reputation, failure, and the fragility of legacy. Recognizing the untapped entertainment potential in the pawn industry, Rick began to imagine a reality TV show that would highlight the daily transactions and unique stories behind the pawn counter at the gold and silver pawn shop. Initially, the idea was rejected, but Rick didn't give up. After years of persistence and persuasion, he finally struck a deal with History Channel, and in 2009, Pawn Stars officially debuted on television. The show unveiled the world of pawn, offering a mix of dramatic negotiations, rare and unique items, and the fascinating history behind them. Audiences were introduced to Rick, his son Cory, Big Hoss Harrison, his no-nonsense father Richard Harrison, and Austin Chumley Russell, the fan-favorite friend. The team quickly became household names, appraising everything from ancient swords to one-of-a-kind memorabilia. Pawn Stars was an instant hit. Rick's calm, no-nonsense demeanor, his professional negotiation skills, and deep knowledge of history made him stand out. His famous catchphrase, "The best I can do is," became iconic, marking the moment when deals could either be closed or rejected. So, the story of Rick Harrison, from a television icon to legal turmoil, has come to a dramatic chapter in his life. But is this the end of his career, or just a turning point that opens up new opportunities? Stay tuned for the latest updates. Thank you for watching the video.